Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media.
Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes us to the Catoctin Mountains near Gambrill State Park, about 55 miles west of Baltimore, Maryland. Near the town of Frederick, in Frederick County, is a private housing development on the 7600 block of Iron Gate Lane. The houses are surrounded by dense stands of white oak, tulip poplar, American elm, black cherry, and Bradford pear trees, with the evergreens being eastern white pine. These trees offer a broad assortment of fruits and nuts seasonally that provide needed calories for many animals, but are particularly important for the area's black bears. White-tailed deer dash among the trees, and turkeys, squirrels, and cottontail rabbits do their best to avoid being eaten by numerous predators. Bobcats, coyotes, and red and gray foxes stalk the shadows of the forest, but the growing population of black bears is most concerning to residents. People living along Iron Gate Lane have been reporting black bear sightings often, with incidents of garbage cans being raided and chicken coops pillaged. Neighbors indicate that they had been visited by black bears roaming through their backyards and climbing trees on their property. Maryland Department of Natural Resources allay public fears by stating that the bears usually stay away from people, but a certain amount of care should be taken. At a little after 9 p.m. on Wednesday, November 16, 2016, 63-year-old Karen Osborne was winding down after a busy day. She and her husband Ronald were retired and were doting grandparents of their grandchildren. Their daughter lived only a few yards away through a stand of trees, so visiting them was easy and enjoyable. The sun had just set when Karen's daughter's dog began barking incessantly. She decided she would use the flashlight feature of her cell phone to light her way through the woods and see what all the fuss was about. Before stepping out the door, she clicked a leash onto her dog's collar, and the two disappeared into the darkness, without bear spray or a firearm. As she made her way along the bushy trail and onto the side of her daughter's driveway, she could see her daughter's dog barking at the base of a tree. Suddenly a low rumbling growl encompassed Karen from behind, and she turned to see a black bear towering over her, standing on its hind legs. The bear had emerged from bushes, only a few feet from her, so she had very little time to react to its presence. The angry sow clamped its jaws around Karen's face and tossed its head, sending her sprawling to the ground. As Karen tried to regain her senses, the bear approached her from behind and bit onto her arm, shattering the bones and ripping muscles and tendons. Karen's screams filled the darkness, but no one heard them or responded to her cries. Struggling with the pain and trauma of the sudden attack, Karen was helpless to stop the sow from biting onto the top of her head. The bear's 1.5-inch-long canines punched through her scalp and ripped painful gashes, causing her to scream and flail her arms. Using Karen's scalp as a handle, the sow pulled the woman forward and tried to get a new grip with her jaws on Karen's neck. Using her bunched-up fist to block the sow's jaws, Karen realized this was a fight to the death as far as the bear was concerned. She couldn't just let it tear her apart anymore. She struck out at the bear with her fist in 4 quick punches. The sow didn't flinch, but circled around Karen one more time, looking for a better angle from which to attack. Having worked its way behind Karen, the sow punched her to the ground, face first, with one of its paws. Using her body weight, the sow pinned Karen down and bit several times over her legs, arms, and the back of her head. Each time the bear bit, pain seared through Karen's body, and she twitched in reaction. Pressed face down, Karen could feel the sow's hot, stinky breath pelting the back of her neck. Karen knew there was no way she could resist the bear any longer. It was far too powerful, and her energy was fading. For over 30 minutes, this bear mauled and tore at Karen's flesh, and now the woman was exhausted. The sow was also tired, and breathing heavily as she tried to kill Karen. At the point she had no more energy to resist, Karen curled up into the fetal position and lay still. The bear was pacing around, digging at the ground like a bull, getting ready to charge as it snapped its jaws together menacingly. Groping around slowly, Karen searched for her cell phone. She had to reach out to someone for help, but in the confusion and the speed of the attack, it had been knocked from her grasp, along with the hope of calling the police. As she focused on laying still, Karen felt a hard bump beneath her thigh. She had found her cell phone. Slowly moving her uninjured arm, she retrieved it and tried to dial 911. Her first attempt failed, as well as the next two, but on her fourth try she managed to get a hold of a male dispatcher. The audio of Karen's call is too graphic to post on YouTube, so I've linked to it on the Patreon link below. Pictures of her injuries and photos of the bear and her cubs are there too. Joining our Cub Tier membership for $3 per month will grant you access to view them and all other photos from attacks, and help us continue to create content like this. Frederick County Sheriff's deputies were dispatched to Karen's location and arrived within 15 minutes of her call. The officers came loaded for bear, literally, with rifles in hand while they secured the scene. Paramedics loaded Karen onto a stretcher as they worked on stopping the bleeding from her numerous wounds. The ambulance rushed Karen to Meritus Medical Center, about 20 miles away, in Hagerstown. While searching for the bear, deputies located a 50-pound cub in a tree, but could not find the sow. While at the trauma center, it was discovered that the bear's initial bite on Karen's face had broken 4 of her teeth, blackened 1 of her eyes, and left her cheek gashed. In its second charge, the bear had bitten through Karen's arm, breaking both bones and severing tendons. In its third charge, the sow had torn her scalp. In its fourth charge, the bear had bitten Karen several times over her legs, head, and arms, and broke her pelvis. Emergency surgery was needed to repair the wounds to her arm, and 78 stitches closed gashes and bites over the rest of her body. On the morning following Karen's attack, Maryland Department of Natural Resources officers tracked the sow. A radio collar had been placed around her neck to gather data regarding bear activity in the area, and was now serving as a beacon, revealing her location. Traps were set out, but the old girl was too wily to take the bait. By 7:50 a.m. on Thursday, November 17th, the sow was shot and killed by the officers. Upon examining her carcass, it was noted she weighed 200 pounds, which isn't large. Her 3 cubs had required quite an investment on her part, and now her protective instincts had left them without her to defend and provide for them. Regarding the 3 cubs, they were caught and examined by wildlife officers. It was determined that they were old enough to fend for themselves, and they were released. Karen was in the hospital for 6 days, recovering from her injuries, before being released to heal at home. Due to her pelvis being broken during the attack, she was left immobile for 6 weeks as her bones were mended. Stating that she was amazed to be alive, Karen took the terrible attack in stride. Although she was upset that the wildlife officers didn't take action to relocate the sow after numerous complaints were lodged about her, Karen stated she felt there was an angel on her shoulder that night. If there was an angel on Karen's shoulder, it undoubtedly is black and blue from the attack. The state of Maryland hosts approximately 2,000 black bears, with their numbers having doubled since 2011. In 2004, the state ended a moratorium on black bear hunting and recently expanded hunting zones to decrease black bear populations across the state. Over its 12,000 square miles, bear densities in Maryland, including urban areas, indicate that there is a black bear for every 6 square miles. After reviewing the facts surrounding this attack, I'm left with a few questions for you. Do you think the cubs will continue to raid neighborhood garbage cans just like they did with their mother? Why did the black bear attack Karen 4 times for over 30 minutes? Was it trying to kill her, or was it trying to protect its cubs? Are you surprised that Karen survived such a prolonged and devastating attack? I know I would probably have given up the ghost much earlier than Karen did. I will gladly read and respond to your thoughts, so please post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it.
Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.